Hey guys, I got a new video for you today and we need to talk. So I posted a video yesterday comparing the portrait mode. Well, not really comparing, mostly just trying to show the portrait mode on the iPhone 7 Plus and then comparing it with like an X-T2 with a 56mm lens on the X-T2 and the supposed 56mm lens on the iPhone 7 Plus. And a lot of you have been telling me I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about. And I know the difference between the field of view and focal length on a crop sensor versus a full frame sensor. And if this is trying to emulate a full frame sensor as far as like the focal length field of view with a 56mm on a full frame, but I still don't think that's the case. I just did a test earlier with the 35mm lens on the X-T2 because a lot of you are like, oh, you should have tried the 35mm. And that's fine, but unless you actually have the two things in your hand, you can't go and make those statements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the 35mm on the X-T2 versus this. Obviously, they're still not even going to be close because this is going to have the extra 6mm reach. So let's put that theory to the test and see if it's even close. So let's do that right now. Okay, so I got the iPhone on a tripod here. I'm going to go to portrait mode and lock it in here, take a shot. And I'm going to switch this out for the X-T2. This time with a 35mm lens, like people are suggesting, is the exact same focal length. And it's not. The field of view is completely different. So what I'm thinking is the iPhone is closer to something like a 23mm or something like that, because obviously this is zoomed in way too far now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 10-24 on. Obviously it's an f4, so it's not going to have the same background blur, but what I want to see is what the exact field of view is on the iPhone 7 Plus to match up exactly with what it's going to be on something like this. So I'm going to switch that out right now. Okay, so this is the 10-24. Bring the iPhone image up here and see what we got. So I gotta zoom in a bit more. And obviously I have to move the tripod because the camera on the iPhone is off to the side. So it's definitely not 24mm because that's 24mm. So somehow it's got to be between 24 and 35. And I'm just going to move the tripod until I get it matched back up with what the iPhone looks like and see what the background compression looks like with the 35mm. So I actually had to move the tripod back almost a whole foot to get the exact same field of view. Pretty similar. I'm going to put this at f2.8. Obviously f2.8 means something different on an iPhone compared to a large sensor. So I'll take a shot here and I'll show these two side by side. Alright, so this is the iPhone. As you can see here in the background blur, and bokeh is pretty decent. I'll switch to the X-T2. Obviously I had to move back a foot, but the background compression is a little bit more similar now, but obviously not the exact same focal length. Here they are cropped side by side. So I thought this was a good example and better lighting to show you the differences on the same tripod. So that is the X-T2, how much more it's zoomed in compared to the iPhone. So I'd have to actually move the X-T2 back to get the same focal length. Alright guys, so as you can tell, this is still not even close to a 35mm lens on a crop sensor. So as you saw, I put the 10-24 on it, and even when this was zoomed to 24mm, it still wasn't really close to this. So this has got to be somewhere between 24mm and 35mm on a APS-C sensor. So it's hard to know really what they're judging that focal length off of. 56mm on a full frame would still be, you know, zoomed in quite a bit more than 35mm on this. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if the iPhone is a 56mm equivalent to a full frame, instead of me having to move the X-T2 back to get that same focal length, I should actually be moving the iPhone back, so it's obviously not 56mm. Sorry for getting super technical. That's the whole reason why I didn't explain focal lengths and stuff like that in that video, because I didn't want to get too technical. As you know from my channel, I try to stay away from all the technical aspects. I know all the technical aspects, but I just try and leave them out of the videos just so you guys can actually see, you know, what the camera's doing, what the lenses are doing and stuff like that versus getting all techie, because sometimes, you know, the techie stuff doesn't really matter when you can get some great shots. And people are going to hate me for saying that, but there's tons of channels where people get super technical and have charts and stuff like that, and I'm not going to do that because to me that's kind of boring. And it's not boring to me. I like watching that kind of stuff, but it might be boring to you, so I don't want to make videos like that. That's all I really got to say. I just figured I'd make a video in response to my last video so that you guys know that I kind of know what I'm talking about and I'm not just, you know, some stupid idiot. Look, it's an iPhone. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want more technical videos, I can put my glasses on in my lab coat and we can go to town on charts and stuff like that. But for now, I'm not going to do that. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down twice, and I'll see you in the next one.